Hello, welcome to video 2 of my protein and supplements video series. So today I am going to talk about what the difference is between clear protein and whey protein. In my last video, I talked about the supplements that I personally use, why I use them, and then kind of some questions to ask yourself about what supplements might be helpful for you. Okay, so what's the difference between clear protein and whey protein? And some of you are like, I don't even know what any of that is. So clear protein, I feel like this is a newer thing, but it's in these drinks where it's like you're drinking like water, and then it's like usually a fruity flavor, and they've just been able to filter it to a way that it's like very, I don't want to say light, but it's not like whey protein, which is like your traditional like protein that you put in shakes and smoothies, and it's more dense. And it is a heavier, product to consume. So that's pretty much, from a bird's eye view, the difference in those and kind of how they're different. But clear protein is less calorie dense than whey protein. So clear protein usually comes from whey isolate, which then is further processed to remove fat, carbs, and lactose. That's clear protein. So it doesn't have fat, carbs, or lactose. Whey protein comes strictly from whey concentrate. So the removal of the fat, carbs, and lactose creates a product that is naturally less caloric dense than the clear protein, but more protein dense. So you'll see maybe a little bit higher protein content, but less calories. However, when you do that, you do lose some micronutrients. I'm going to talk about micronutrients in a follow-up video in this process, such as calcium and potassium, which these micronutrients, they serve a purpose. They're helpful too. And, this kind of made me think about the whole in the 70s and 80s where there was like this campaign targeting fat, like fat's like evil and horrible for you, which, there is definitely like, you don't need to be eating butter and like pulled pork and, just very fatty parts of protein and then be like, I'm getting my protein. That's good for me. Like, I'm not arguing that. But I would say, I think it's interesting that we've removed fat from a lot of products that have naturally occurring fat in it. And I'm looking at dairy specifically. But then we just add sugar to it. Because when you remove the fat, it doesn't taste as good. Because you're taking the good part out and then you're throwing sugar on it. And I'm not trying to like pit fat against sugar because I think it's more complicated than that. But I think consuming sugar in large amounts of it does not have good health outcomes. And I'm not saying consuming a bunch of fat has great health outcomes either. But I just don't think the issue is low fat everything or no fat in anything, but there's hidden sugars. So it's like, okay, like you're giving up one that could help with satiety and then and then just putting more sugar in, which doesn't help anything except make it taste good. So that's probably a whole nother conversation. But anyways. I always thought that was weird to me. Like, we're going to take the fat out of it, which I get why, to, make it less calories. Like, low calorie this, yes, but I'm like, if we're eating, we need to get back to eating high quality food and not worry as much about the calories. And yes, we need to worry about the calories, but there's a conversation about feeling full and getting to a point where you feel satisfied because you've had something that tastes really good. But then also there's this part of, especially if you're in a deficit or trying to lose weight, you're going to be hungry, and that's okay. And we're not all the way to the point because you're hungry that you then have an eating disorder because you're not eating. If you have to wait 30 minutes, an hour until dinner time and you're a little hungry, that's okay. Like, not, yeah. So, and I'm not saying people are saying that. I just think I think sometimes there might be people critical of someone like myself. They'll be like, oh yeah, I'm starving, or like, I'm starving. That's dramatized. But it's like, oh, I'm so hungry at bedtime and all I want to do is eat. And people are like, well, just eat. And if you don't eat, you have an eating disorder. And it's like, well, no, not necessarily. Like, it's just, I've met my calories for today. I'm trying to lose some weight. I'm going to have a soda to help manage the hunger, and then I'm going to go to bed. Like, that's not as serious as it sounds. Okay? And I'm not talking about people who struggle with eating disorders. That's a whole nother conversation. But it's okay to be hungry. All right, so which one should you use? Okay, so it's whatever you like, whatever you tolerate better, and then, whatever feels good. I know sometimes, and this is the thing with like supplements, is they're all made a little different. And some people might not like the whey protein because it causes digestive issues. Some people might like the clear protein because they don't have that issue with the whey protein. And it's just kind of figuring out what works best for you. And so whey protein does create that creamy texture. But like I said, it can cause some digestive issues. Clear protein can be more bitter, but it's usually found in more fruity flavors, I think, to cover the bitterness of it. I've really enjoyed some of the clear protein I've used in the past. The only issues I found is that you definitely have to, it doesn't blend as easy, and from what I've personally used. It doesn't blend as easily as whey protein. Like whey protein, you can pretty much put in a blender bottle and it's going to break up enough to blend. The clear protein, you really have to get some kind of like little blender or maybe one of those immersion blenders, because when I put it in a blender bottle, it comes out too foamy, so I personally don't gravitate toward the clear protein. I've not tried some of the, I think some of them are even like in cans and like carbonate. Like I haven't tried any of that. I might like that better than putting the powder version into a drink. But I'm just like, I just want to grab and go. And if I'm having to sit there and like try to like stir something together and then it starts getting foamy and then there's like this much foam at the top, I'm like, like it's a texture issue. So that's why I gravitate not to clear protein. But I would recommend trying both. If you know me personally, I'm happy to give you a sample of some of mine that I use. But you can also switch it up, have some, one day, like there's no rules to it. It's just what fits your protein and caloric needs and what works for your digestive system and your taste palette and all that. So, and I don't know if I said it in this video. I think I did. But another option is the protein drinks with ultra-filtered milk. These are my favorite. So Fairlife has one. I think it's Rockin's Shamrock maybe has one. I think that's the brand. And then I think it's Elevation. I found at Aldi. And it just tastes like, to me, it tastes like my favorite Fairlife probably. It just tastes like chocolate milk. Some of them have, I don't know if you ever had Slim Fast back in the day. Some of them have a little bit of that taste. And I'm like, not my favorite, but still like pretty good. Like I'd drink it. And, I'd be like, okay, it's pretty good. And so I think it's just kind of personal preference between all of those brands of the ultra-filtered milk. So with the ultra-filtered milk, because of the filtration process that's used, The product is created with a higher protein content, and then it's less sugar, which is always a win in my book. Shamrock Farms. I wrote it down here. Shamrock Farms is the one I'll get at Publix, and then Fairlife. I like that one too.